Good day, learners. I'd like to welcome you to Academic Growth College. In today's lesson, we're going to be learning about arithmetic sequences, right? Before we do anything else, I'd like you guys to please subscribe, like the video, share it, and put in the comments, right? Anything that you feel, whether you didn't understand, whether you'd like, types of videos you'd like us to put out next time. Without further ado, let's start with today's lesson. We have what we call an arithmetic sequence. Let's start by defining it. What is an arithmetic sequence? An arithmetic sequence is a sequence of numbers where the difference between the consecutive terms is constant. So, let me write down a simple example of that. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 continues. We can see that between the consecutive numbers from 2 we go to 4, the difference between these two consecutive numbers, 2 and 4, what is the difference there? It's 2. What is the difference between the 4 and the 6? We can see the difference is 2. Then now what is the difference between the 6 and the 8? We can clearly see that the difference is 2, right? So now, in mathematics, we usually like to put things into a formula. So with arithmetic sequence, we have what we call the general formula. What is the general formula? So we have the general formula, right? What is the general formula of an arithmetic sequence? It's Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 multiplied by D. And now, for some of you guys might ask themselves, what is Tn, what is A, what is n, what is D, right? So let's start with the first one, Tn. Let me use a different color. Let me go with red. So first and first, your Tn, it is what? It is the value of the nth term, right? It is the value of the nth term. Then you ask yourself, what is the nth term? The nth term is represented by this letter n. So, what is n representing? N is the term, or rather the term number, right? N is the term or the term number. Then what do we also have? We have an A. What is A? A is the first term of the sequence. So A is the first term of the sequence, right? A is the first term of the sequence, or I like to say A is equals to T1, right? Last but not least, we have the D. What is D? Okay, let me quickly erase here. Last but not least, we have D. What is D? D is the common difference, right? So now from the example that I've made here earlier on today, that I'm going to just draw a bubble around this arithmetic sequence. Looking at this, all of these things, we can now see that our A in this particular sequence is 2. Like we said, the difference also is 2. Remember guys, only in this example that the difference and the first term are both 2. Another thing that I'd like you guys to know is this n. N is the term number, right? So what is the term number for 6? The term number for 6 is 3. The term number for 2 is 2. I meant the term number for 4 is 2. And the term number for 2 is 1, right? So let's not confuse this thing. These are the n's. This is the n, right? To say what number of the term, what does that term sit on. So now let's take a look at an example. So now we're going to do an example. We are now going to do an example. Suppose we have a sequence 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, and 22, right? Remember, with arithmetic sequences, we have a general formula. And what was the general formula? The general formula is Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 multiplied by D, right? What did we say the A is? So we know A is equals to T1, and from this sequence we can see that the term number 1 goes to 2, right? So now let's also find D. What is D? D is the common difference. How do we get the common difference? The common difference is T2 minus T1, or we can say T3 minus T2, or we can say T4 minus T3. So already from this, you can always see that your D is calculated by Tn plus 1 minus Tn, right? So now, what do we have? Our D would be, here is T2 is 6, so it's going to be 6 minus T1, which is 2. And our common difference in this case is 4, right? So if we are to write our general formula, we would say, let me change a pen, put in a green. Our general formula for this particular sequence would be Tn is equals to our A. Remember, what is our A? Our A is 2 plus n minus 1 multiplied by the D, which is a 4, right? There's different ways of writing it. Other people like to simplify it even further. It is purely up to you. If you simplify it further, you're going to have the 2 plus the 4. We'll have to multiply everything out inside the bracket. So we're going to have 4 times n, which is going to be 4n. And we're going to have 4 multiplied by minus 1, which is going to be minus 4. And if you simplify this, we're going to have 4n. 2 minus 4 will be minus 2. So this will be your general formula, right? Which is Tn, which equals to 4n minus 2. Yes. So now the question is, what typical questions can be asked from this, right? Supposedly we didn't know that here we have a 14, right? We can see, or rather they can ask you find, let me write with a different color, they can say find T4, right? If they ask you to find T4, what you're going to do is, where there is an n from the general formula, you're gonna substitute your 4. So you're gonna have 4n. What is your n? This, here it is, it's a 4 minus a 2. 4 times this times 4, it's 16. 16 minus 2 is 14. So just like we had here, it was 14, right? Sometimes they might ask you a question like, what is the term number of 30, right? We don't have a 30 in our sequence, but now they're just asking you what is the term number of 30. Then now, remember I said the term number, it's an n, so they're looking for an n. So if they're looking for an n, then what should you do? You know your Tn, so if they say 30, so meaning that's your Tn. So from the general formula, you're gonna now know that your Tn is 30. You're gonna substitute 30, which is equal to 4n minus 2. They're looking for the term number. The term number. So the term number will be your n. And if you remember guys from algebra, solve for x. In this case, you're solving for n. We're gonna do what? Group light terms. When you're grouping light terms, this 2 is gonna go to the other side. Then we're gonna have 30 minus 2. No, rather plus 2. Remember it went to the other side. It's gonna be plus 2 equals to 4n, right? And then here we're gonna have 32 equals to 4n. And when we divide both sides by 4, this will cancel out. Therefore, our n will equals 8. Therefore, the 8th term will give us 30, right? And that's about arithmetic sequence. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we can look up in our channel for an exam type of question. Thank you guys for tuning in on today's video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also guys, comment on what you didn't understand and what future videos you'd like to see of any topic.